So I started doing a series here on my channel about how I married a man that I had no business marrying. Okay. Not only did I have a dream that I shouldn't marry that man, there were red flags, there were warning signs. People was prophesying to me. There was all the things that this was not the man for me. And I ignored all of that, put my blinders on, married this man, and I suffered. I want to talk about three red flags that I noticed very early on that were at the time I didn't see them as like major, but now looking back, being older, being wiser, hindsight is always 2020. They were huge, okay? And the reason why they weren't as big to me at the time is because sometimes we think that like, okay, at that time it just felt like this is just a character flaw. These are just some character flaws he has, right? Because everybody has their flaws. I'm flawed. Nobody's coming to you perfect. And so I was misinterpreting uh bad behavior and lack of character and integrity for, oh, these is just some flaws that he can work through and he can work on. No. Let me tell you something else. Whoever they are now is who they're going to be in that marriage. Do not marry anybody if you are not comfortable with who they are now with an expectation that they're going to change or get better because you got married. That is just not how that works at all. Actually, it's the quite opposite. Whatever they're bringing into the marriage is actually going to magnify, is going to maximize, is going to be worse in marriage. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into three of the biggest red flags that I had no business ignoring. And had I not ignored them, it would have saved me from experiencing all the trauma and the hell I experienced in that marriage. I also want to say one more thing. Even with these red flags could have never, ever prepared me for how devious and dark that this man truly was. Now, what the red flags were meant to do was steer me away from him so that I didn't experience how dark he really was. And so I think that's where, I just really messed that up for myself because I felt like his red flags were just character flaws when in turn they were meant to steer me away because this man was dealing with something far more dark and sinister than I could have ever even imagined. But let's go ahead and get into it, okay? So, number one, the first major red flag that I ignored very early on was that he was not a protector. I don't know about you, but for me as a woman, I want my man to be my safe space. I want to feel covered. I want to feel safe with him. I want to know that he can protect me. You know what I mean? I think most women desire that in a man. You want to feel like your man is the ultimate protector in your life, you know? And so very early on, he showed me that he did not have that capability. And this is what happened. So about 6 months into us officially dating, he used to stay at my house a lot at this point. And so he was leaving to go to work one morning, okay? And he would leave early in the morning. And so that morning he got up, gave me a kiss, told me bye, I'm gonna call you a little later. All right, cool. I laid in bed, I think for maybe 30 minutes to an hour or so. And then finally I got up to get my day started. Now at this time I lived in an apartment. And so as I'm coming out of my room, going down into my hallway, the way my apartment was set up, like my room was all the way to the back of the apartment. Then there was like a long hallway that went all the way straight down to the front door. So I come out my room, the hallway, you go left to go down the hallway. And before you get to the end of the hallway, the kitchen is like off to the right. I was heading to the kitchen. But as I'm getting closer to the kitchen, I'm looking at the front door and I'm noticing that my front door looks open. And I'm like, and I'm looking because I'm still a little distance from the door. And I'm like, am I just sleepy right now still? I'm looking and I start to walk closer. And as I get to the door, y'all, my front door is open, like open, not unlocked, but open. Mind you, I've been in the room laying in my bed with a nightgown on. My door is open. My son is in his room asleep. And I'm like, this man just left the door open? Because he was the last one to go out the door. And I called him and I said, you just left my front door open and I'm just getting out of bed and noticing this. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I closed it. It was open. And I'm like, yeah, it was open. And I will never forget. That was the first time that happened. And immediately I felt and heard he is not a protector. I knew it instantly, right? But again, what do we do in these instances? We like to just rationalize things away. We like to give people second chances. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this man is not. He just walked out the front door at 5, 6 a.m. in the morning and left me and my child in the house. I'm in the bed with my child, and you just left my front door open. Not closed it and just forgot to lock it. You left it open. And I'm like, is this man trying to set me up? Like anything could have happened to us. Anybody could have walked into my door and did anything to me or my child. And so that instance happened. I'm on the phone with him. He's like, apologizing profusely. And oh my God, I didn't know. And I'm just quiet because I'm just really shocked. I'm just really in shock. Like, this man just really left my door open. But obviously, we move past it because I'm thinking, okay, this is just an accident. Because realistically, even though I was feeling that way and I heard it, like he's not a protector, nobody realistically is going to just be like, okay, this relationship is over. And that's the problem. Because we never leave for those little things. We think that those little things are it's not that serious. We feel like we're only supposed to leave for the big things when in reality, it's all the little things that we ignored that leads up to the bigger things. And so I rationalized it away. He just made a mistake. Y'all, when I tell you, this became routine. This was happening like multiple times a year, even into the marriage, even as we were a married couple. He was leaving the front door open. Think about that. You are supposed to be the man of the house. You are supposed to be the protector. You are supposed to be covering your family. And you are leaving out of the house knowing that your family is in the house. And there's no assertiveness in you. There's nothing in you that says, let me make sure my family is locked up and everything is, they're safe because I'm leaving. No, it was quite the opposite. It was very much, I'm leaving and I'm leaving them wide open to whatever. And this became a pattern over the years. And so when I say, if you're not okay with who someone is now, do not marry them with the expectation that they're going to change. Do not. Because not only did that not change, not only did it, was that not the only time, it actually got worse. It started happening more frequently. And my little goofy self, again, I started fussing about it, making a big deal. Why is you doing this? Da, 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 da. But I was still there. Because in my mind, okay, we just got to, every time it was another time it happened, it's just like, okay, he just has to fix this. He just has to fix this. He never fixed it. He never fixed it. All the way up until me leaving this man, this was still happening. Okay, this was still happening. 12 years later, this was still happening. And then when we bought our house, because by that time we would kind of use the garage more, he would just be leaving the garage door open. So now I'm in the house and our garage is open for hours at a time before I realize it. I remember one time I was in the house and thank God that we have like a police officer that circles our neighborhood at a certain hour. Our HOA paid for that. Shout out to them. And he was out doing a job and the police rang my front doorbell. And I was like, I looked at the ring camera and I'm like, why is the police at my front door? And I answered it and he said, yeah, it's like after midnight and your garage is still open. Y'all, that man had left the house with the garage open at night, leaving the house at night with the garage open. Mind you, the door that leads into the garage that's in the house, that's unlocked. And then the garage is open. So he showed me very early on that he was not a protector. He was not a man that could cover his family. And he also exemplified that in other ways as well. I never felt safe with this man. I never felt covered. I never felt protected. And that was the first instance where he showed that and I ignored it. So if you're watching this and that's something that you've seen in your person, please don't take it lightly. It's not a light thing at all. Second red flag. This one we hear and I think it's kind of like one of those cliche things, but it's really not. It's really a big thing. A man who does not like his mom or respect his mom is not going to respect you. This man had major mommy issues from day one. I would listen to him talk to his mom on the phone, and he would be talking to his mom so crazy, so disrespectful. And I remember the very first time I listened to him have a conversation with his mom, I thought he was having a conversation with, I don't know, not his mama, somebody on the street, somebody who owed him money. Because I remember like I'm listening to him and I'm like, who is he going off on like this? And when he got off the phone, I'm like, who are you talking to? And he's like, my mom. You were just talking to your mom like that? And he's like, yeah, she get on my nerves. She always da, da, da. And I was like, I don't think you should be talking to her like that. I didn't like, that's your mom? And instantly, me and him kind of had like a little back and forth because now I'm offended that I know that that's your mom and that's who you were talking to like that. But that was something that, again, I rationalized away because I felt like, okay, I have to be understanding that his mom kind of emotionally neglected him and he was kind of raised by his grandmother. So he had some resentment. He had a lot of resentment towards his mom because just emotionally she just wasn't there for him. And I was trying to be understanding to that. That's another thing. You cannot heal a grown person through their trauma. It is not your responsibility to heal any grown person through their trauma. Okay. And I thought that I could help heal him through his mommy wounds. No, no. Eventually that man it just projected onto me and everybody else. So I noticed once we got married that a lot of his resentment towards his mother was being projected onto me. The same tone and energy that he would give his mother when he spoke with her, I started to notice that tone and energy when he would speak with me. And so don't ever think that you're the exception to the rule because, oh, I can love him and I can love him through this. I can heal him. I can be the nurturing woman that he just needed. I can feel that emotional wound that his mother couldn't. Don't think that. Don't think that. No. That man is going to just resent you. He's going to hate you. He's going to treat you like ish the same way he treats his mama, okay? So for me, moving forward, a man who does not respect their mother, who does not have you have to have a great relationship with your mom. It can't be mediocre. It can't be mid. It needs to be great. You need to be a man that truly loves your mother, that truly values your mother, that respects her. I will never ever entertain a man that is disrespectful to his mom or a mom or a man that just have mommy issues and mother wounds and he's at odds with his mother. That is not the man for me. You got to go heal that. You got to go fix that because that was something that truly spilled over into our marriage and how he treated me and dealt with me eventually. And the third and most important red flag, something that I would never go for, is a man that is into corn with the P word. Okay, I can't say it here. Very early on, when we were still dating, I happened to see corn in his phone. Okay. And when I saw this, I asked him about it. And I was like, oh, is this what you're like into? And he was like, well, I used to watch it because I was a single guy. And, as a single guy, I had to like, take care of myself. Da, da, da. And at that time, again, me always, what I do, rationalize things away. Okay, I get that. But now that we're in a relationship, that I don't really want you like indulging in that. Okay, yeah, no, cool, no problem. I don't need it, but it was just something I would do because I, was single and guys got to have their needs met. And so I left it like that. We talked about it. I let him know that it wasn't something that I wanted to, be a part of our relationship. And I would appreciate if he did not indulge in it. And so he agreed. Well, fast forward years later, I found out that this man is a serial cheater and all kind of other stuff. And it ends up coming out um, during therapy that he, in fact, had never stopped watching corn. Now, the corn is a direct result in his behavior towards women, okay? This man sees women as sex objects. He sexually objectifies every woman, okay? It does not matter what you look like. He is always running on demon time. He has a very lustful spirit that cannot be fulfilled, okay? And this is due to his addiction to corn. Now, I found out in the marriage that he actually started watching corn at the age of 12 years old because his stepfather introduced him to it. His stepfather actually gave him corn videos, gave him some other stuff, told him to watch it, and even explained to him how to take care of himself. That's a form of child abuse, okay? And so, whole time, his mama is married to this man who just exposed her 12-year-old son to corn and showed him how to do things to himself while watching said corn. And this his brain is being rewired at a very early age. And so we found out through therapy that from the age of 12 all the way through, this is something that he did on a daily basis. He said from that moment on, he could not stop watching it. And he said that not only would he watch it daily, but it was probably multiple times on some days. I found out that during our relationship and our marriage, he would do it whenever I was away, whenever he could, however he could hide it, whether it was I would left out the house to go somewhere, he would go get it, do it real quick in the bathroom. But he said it was something that he just felt like he needed all the time. So this man was a whole corn addict, which was a complete direct effect in how he interacted with women. It was a complete direct result in why he was always chasing women and sexually objectifying them. And he had this sexual appetite that could not be fulfilled. There was not enough sex that I could have with this man. Okay. It was an appetite that just could not be filled. Imagine you putting gas in your car and filling it up, but the gas tank has a hole in it. And you're like, but I just filled this gas tank up. Well, yeah, it's never going to be filled. That was this man in regards to sex. He can never be filled. He can never be satisfied. So he was always chasing that high of just something else, something always, okay? And so a man that indulges in corn is absolutely a no for me. I could have never imagined that he was addicted to it. And so, at that time I just thought that, people do indulge in that. But even then, I didn't even have the true understanding and knowledge of just how much corn truly rewires your brain. And I've seen people like ask like, well, why you can't watch that? Why you can't watch that? Go do your own research. Okay. Go do your own research. I'm not going to sit here and explain why watching corn is completely detrimental to your brain chemistry. It is not a healthy thing to watch. It is not something healthy to indulge in. I'm not going to explain it. I think that you need to do your own research and find that out. But it ruins your perspective on sex and people. Man literally hid a whole addiction for our entire relationship. So these are just the three things that I felt like were the biggest at the time. And just imagine, had I took heed to the doors being open and left, had I took heed to the fact that he was disrespectful to his mom and said, oh yeah, no, this man needs help. Had I took heed to the fact that I was seeing corn in his phone, mind you, that first time I saw it, it was not the only time. I ended up seeing it again. It probably was one more time after that, but from that point on, he did a really good job at hiding it. He did a really good job at hiding it, and he just made sure he said that I was never around. Like it was always when I would leave the house, he would go and indulge in it. But those signs were meant to be big enough for me to walk away. And instead of me walking away, I thought that they were character flaws. I thought that they were things that he could just work through. I thought that, his mother wounds was just between him and his mother, that he needed to heal. And I would encourage him. I would encourage him to fix his relationship with his mom. Maybe you guys can go to family therapy. He never wanted to. He was not interested in healing his relationship with his mom. He had a lot of resentment. I think I was a little bit too understanding about it versus being more reactive to it. And I really felt like I needed to sympathize with him because of how she didn't show up for him as a child. And no, because it literally was like he turned it onto me eventually. And then I was being dogged out. I was being treated bad. If he's not going to respect his mom, he's not going to respect you, point blank, period. And I never got a man that was a protector. I never felt safe with him. I never felt like he had my back. And even so, even though that was like a figurative situation, there was instances where I just felt like literally in a lot of instances where like he just didn't have my back the way your husband is supposed to have your back. Do not ignore the little things, because eventually those little things are going to be bigger things down the road. And I know it's hard to walk away from somebody for something as small, or what seems as small as an open door, or him having a disagreement with his mom because of his mommy wounds. But I promise you, all of those things are going to eventually grow and maximize in your relationship or in your marriage. And you're going to look back one day and realize all the little things that you felt like, all those flags that you felt like were just little, were really meant to steer you away from that person. So I really hope that this helps. Like I said, I just really wanted to take a moment just to kind of like highlight some of those red flags I saw very early on. Also, the whole corn addiction also played a whole role in him being a serial cheater again, because he's always sexually objectifying women, always needing to get that fix, which in turn, men who are addicted to corn are usually going to be cheaters most of the time. Okay. Those are all complete deal breakers for me moving forward. You need to love and respect your mother. You need to be a protector. And more importantly, you need to be a disciplined man who has good sexual discipline, and you are secure within yourself. But thank you so much for watching. I am going to drop videos moving forward on Wednesdays. So be on the lookout for a video to be uploaded every Wednesday. Okay. Bye.